was in wealth. Yet, that wasn't where God wanted him to be. So when you hear the word launch out, it is not necessarily talking about those who are poor. Because actually, the two of them will have different excuses. See, the one that is wealthy will not want to leave because he's already familiar with the enjoyment. While the one that is poor will give you excuses of there is please let's talk now. There is never money. There is no money. So please, when you hear launch out, it is not just for a set of people. It is not just for the poor. It is both for the poor and the wealthy. The most important thing is that you are obeying that instruction and you are taking that step. No matter the wealth, no matter the comfort. The excuse there is no money is no longer an excuse. And I am not joking about it. Let me quickly share a bit of my examples. I got a feeling that it was time to leave my job then. I'm still a teacher. I still like to identify myself as it. Because I still teach, so I'm still a teacher. Right? So, I got a feeling, leave wherever you are working. In fact, it was not leave where you are working. It was, I have something bigger for you. That was the exact thing I got. Okay now. So guess what your girl did? So I'm telling you how we usually transition. Your girl now started looking for a job that paid higher than where she was. Do you understand? And I got it. And I was there, I think, for a session. I was there as a relationship manager. He was paying me higher. Because in my mind, God said what? I have something bigger. So it has to be cash-wise. After spending a session there, I felt him again saying, and that's the advantage you have as a Christian. You know, our daddy kept saying, if you have all of these things and you now have Christ, child, your life, it will just be smooth. You will know what to do part-time. So after spending a session there, I felt again, it's time to move. Like that's what I heard initially came back. I have something bigger. So then my boss, that's the boss of the place I spent a session. She's actually a Christian. Like she could relate with those things. So I told her that, man, I'm actually leaving. This is what and guess what this woman said? She said that the Lord had told her a month before that I have another task for this girl. So she said she was waiting for me to come to tell her that if I had not come to tell her, she would have doubted my walk with God. Meanwhile, I was fidgeting that she would be angry with me. So, of course, I exited that place. What I still had in my mind was he has something bigger. Guess what your girl did again? That's how we want to move from comfort to, you don't want that struggle. I submitted CV in another place. And I said, I'm applying for this position. They took me in. That was at Ikeja. Long and short of the story, I didn't even resume. After collecting their, all their policy, everything I was supposed to resume, the employment was supposed to resume on a Monday. And then the Friday before, I said I had to communicate with them that I'm sorry. This was a job that had waited for me for a month. I had to communicate with them that I'm sorry I won't be able to resume. Because it dawned on me that it looks like you are not okay upstairs. You are just moving from one place to the other. Because he says he has something bigger for you. So it means be looking for bigger pay. Be looking for bigger pay. The offer that will give you bigger money, it has to be bigger money. So when I settled down, after settling, that was when COVID-19 struck. Everybody knows that teaching was affected, right? My husband worked then in a tourist industry. So tourism was also affected. So both of us, we sat at home earning nothing. My story is heading somewhere. Heading to those who will give up the excuse of there is no money. That's why I'm not starting. So I said, sir, Oga, that's my husband. Now that both of us are in the house, can you find out from God what he wants us to do? Or what you want, in fact, more specifically. I I said, can you find out from God what you want to do with your life? Because I am not sure tourism will get its feet back anytime soon. So, he now started praying. My husband now came and said he saw himself in the midst of yams. It means that he's harvesting souls. He said he keeps seeing himself harvesting yams, that it means he's harvesting souls. I said, okay. Meanwhile, he had told me this dream before. That was when we were still engaged. That he kept seeing himself in the midst of yams. So he was telling me then that it means he will go into ministry because he keeps harvesting souls. So when COVID-19 struck and he said that was a dream that came back, that I said, okay, sir, you will hold on with the souls. But this yam, we will see the reality. It means you need to sell yam. He said, no, that's not what it means. What it means is that he's harvesting souls. You will harvest souls even in the business. But let us start selling yams. When he eventually accepted that, okay, we should start doing the business. I don't know anything about yams. He is from Benue, so he grew up as a farmer. So he knows a bit about it. When it was time to start, thank God for Sister Sheyi Peters. She just called in then, and she said, I knew you both. She understood the industry that we both were in. And she said, you both, your industry is affected. What do you intend to do? So I just mentioned it briskly that my husband has been saying yam, yam, yam. And she said, you people should start. That you don't need to have big money. Guess what I was thinking about then? That we need to go to Benue, go and carry trailer. And just dump it and say we have arrived. Come and buy the yams. She said if it is only 50 you can buy. Go to the market, go and buy and start marketing. I said, wow, thank you for the advice. And I discussed it with my husband. He said, okay. People of God, to even have money for the 100 tubers, it was war. It was because we were dry. Both accounts were dry. The only thing we were left with was 74,000 naira. Both accounts, 2 adult accounts, 7 and 4,000 naira. And we were going to buy 100 tubers. We were going to buy a scaling machine because, of course, there was no shop. So we knew it was going to be an online business. So let's buy a scale. A scale then was weighing, cost about, I think it was about 15 or 18,000. I remember that after we put everything together, myself and my mom went to the island, bought the machine. Money was not enough. Mommy added a 5,000 and said, in support of your business. She added. And we brought the scale home. So we had gotten scale, we had gotten stickers, we had gotten everything. But we had not gotten money for yam. We now entered markets. Let's go and buy the yam. Our money was 5,000 naira short of what we needed. And I called another friend of mine, Wumi, sorry, transfer. You know why I'm telling you this story? So that you will understand that, see, even the little you have, even the very little you have, can be used if only your heart is committed to that task. Money could have been a reason for us to step back and say, no, we can't do this. Money should honestly have been the reason. So I called and she sent the 5K immediately and we paid money for the yams. That was the beginning of the business. The business that could not afford fully 100 tubers then. If I should tell you the number of tubers we move monthly, you will only but thank God on our behalf. All that you need really is not an excuse. So I am saying for those who are poor, if your excuse is that there is no money, I can tell you that you don't have an excuse. You don't have an excuse. I have heard people who will tell me that they started their businesses with 5,000 naira. 5,000 naira. And you will see the multiplication of that 5,000 naira. The God we serve is still the one who multiplies the 2 loaves of bread and 5 fishes. But the first thing he's asking is, what is in your hand? You can't come empty. You cannot come empty. So there is actually no excuse. Wealth is not an excuse. cannot be an excuse. If you want to launch out, the first thing you need to do for yourself is to read out the fears. We also had fears. Who will buy? Who will buy yams online? Do you know what it means to buy yams online? It means you are paying delivery fee. It means you are paying, there are a lot of costs. People of God, we run adverts. So it means you are paying for the adverts we are running. It is not going to cost the regular price that you buy at the market. But you will see, of late, because of the tons of order, we had to launch a website. So what it means is that people no longer need to wait in the DM or send a WhatsApp message. Go on www.onishuyamseller.com and place your order. That was a business that could barely afford its startup capital. Fear is not an excuse not to launch out. Lack of money is not an excuse not to launch out. Who will accept my idea? In fact, they don't need to accept it. They don't need to accept it. Leave them now. Do you believe in it? First and foremost, do you believe in it? Because what you don't believe in, nobody will believe in for you. Who will accept my idea? There are tons of excuses you can give yourself not to start. And I think it is the men that does that the most. They overthink them. Men are logical, yes, but they will think and think, what if, how about, but then we'll leave the what if, all die and I die, just enter. By the time you enter, we will sort, that's the way I'm wired. So long as it comes to me, I will do it, and we will sort ourselves out. But a man, I don't know, it might not be generic, but a man will think, and at the end of the day say, there's no point. I've thought about it. There's no point going ahead. I'm saying this because I have friends who are males. I'll say, go and do this thing. They say, do you know? Don't you think? Why do you think? Don't you see? You are logical enough, but put your logicality to work now. Don't let it be an excuse. Don't let it be an excuse. No, they overthink them because all die now waiting. All die now die. I would rather do it and fail. And there is nothing like failure. It's a feedback. It means I can't do it that way again. Than to say, okay, I won't do it at all. Do not let fear hold you back. Do not give in to excuses. Do not give in to those people who are already doing it better. That's another thing. Somebody is already there doing it. What is your business? I think I quickly need to mention that to launch out does not mean becoming like another person or becoming better than another person. It doesn't mean be like Albert Einstein or be like Dangote. It means set a new course. God has not created you to become like another person. So why compare? When we got online, we saw in fact, thank God I didn't see people selling yams. Maybe if I had seen a lot of people selling yams too, I would have stepped back. But God did not allow me to see. It was when we got into the business that I started seeing people. With a lot of followers, they were enough to just handcuff you and say, no, don't move. But right where we were able to carve a niche. And people will say, the only reason I'm buying yams from you is because you educate us. That is teaching coming into what God has said we should do. So you are picking up a yam. I'll tell you, this is the season for this yam. Don't store yam. This season of yams is not the time to store them because they are dry. You would think I went to do PhD. No, there is no PhD. It's experience. By the time you have failed, you will learn your lessons. I'm sure our father, when I saw 2 decades in business, do you know what it means? Please, let's put our hands together for him, please. Do you know what it means to run business for 2 decades? think my time is up. But I would like to mention as I round off that you are not too young to start, neither are you too old to start. Abraham at the time, we don't know his age when he moved from Ur to Haran, right? But the Bible says when he now got to Haran at 75, he said, no, this is not where I should be. 75, he moved out again. You will share this. When we started, the complaints about yam, I know everybody should know it, is rot. Nobody knows what is inside the yam. So I kept saying, nobody knows, man.